Hi, I'm Enrique Menendez and I'm the director. Thanks for coming and spending time with us today. This play is named You've Got Privilege by Charing Ball, and it is one of a series of 5 short plays which Shareef will be producing. So thanks for your time and please enjoy You've Got Privilege.
Scene 1. Unidentified room, dark. A black woman sits at a table and opens a laptop. A spotlight shines down on the woman at the table. The swoosh comes out of the speakers. The woman taps on her laptop keys. Scene 2. Unidentified room, dark. As a white woman comes home from work, another spotlight opens and illuminates. She is sitting at her laptop desk and typing on her laptop.
Hello, Shireen. Or is it Shireen? No, it's definitely Shireen. Good with a G. I remember she said in a very matter-of-fact tone when I asked her if she had a nickname. She said, "My mama named me Shireen, so my name is Shireen with a G." Hello, Shireen.
Well, hello there, stranger. Linda, is it? Yeah, Linda. I haven't heard from you in years. Actually, that's not true. The last time we saw each other was 2 months ago at the supermarket, remember? I waved, and you gave me that tight-lipped smile white people like to give to black people when they don't want to talk to us but are scared that something will happen if they don't. Anyway, the last time we actually spoke was during the brief time y'all invited me to be part of the environmental committee. Yeah? You and your little friends. Now, what were their names? Oh, yeah. Peter, Paul, Mary, and you, Linda. Anyway, y'all got a hold of me after seeing a couple of my videos I made on YouTube about making your own eco-friendly household cleaner. Yeah, back when I was going through this whole black environmentalist stage. After a few email exchanges, we decided to meet in person. And y'all were all sitting around in your hemp pants holding your eco-friendly bicycle pumps telling me how brilliant and refreshing it was to see a black face doing green things. Then y'all asked if I would be interested in being a part of your environmental committee. And of course, being younger and enthusiastic about things, I said, sure, why not? And I thought for sure our work on the committee would be more active. But to my surprise, the essence of our work consisted of y'all inviting me to a really nice dinner at y'all's house on the Sabbath. And while we ate really delicious challah and salmon, y'all got all up in my head and asked me every variation of, so, tell me about black people and what y'all know about the environment. And after I naively spilled the non-kosher beans, y'all said thanks, and I never really heard from y'all again, with the exceptions of a few email blasts. And the second time you came around asking if I could help y'all get the word out to the community about some environmental ideas y'all had concocted. And then, of course, this email. So yeah, what's up?
Ha ha, Shireen. You always had a biting sense of humor. Anyway, not sure what you're up to these days.
That's because you don't know me like that. Not a birthday wish, or season's greetings, or condolences when my grandmother died. Right after I lost my job. Right before the heater in my house broke during one of the coldest winters on record. Right after I had to put my dog down because I didn't have the money for a surgery that could have saved his life. Right around the time I was starting to think I was losing my mind and wondering where everyone was at.
I'm sorry to hear about all of that. But I know you still care about Germantown, Nicetown.
While I do care about Germantown and Nicetown, I'm from Mount Airy, the same neighborhood as you. But I guess black socioeconomic face, black socioeconomic neighborhoods, close enough.
Yeah. Well, anyway, wanted to let you know about a planned SEPTA project nearby that many of us are concerned about.
Well, I appreciate it, but who's many of us?
Oh, good question. But never mind that. SEPTA is planning on building a natural gas power plant at the Roberts Avenue yard. And
We?
Yes, we. Anyway, we're gearing up to question the buildup of fossil fuel infrastructure. Yeah, from a public health perspective, from a climate perspective, and from an investment perspective. We much prefer if SEPTA invested in a more forward-thinking project, such as solar panels on the roof of the bus garage, or a larger solar farm.
That's nice. And good luck to y'all with that.
Wait! Don't leave yet. I know you have a lot going on. It's just that, well, who do you think might be interested in working with us?
Perhaps the people who live in those aforementioned neighborhoods, especially since it's a project that most affects them and not any of us Mount Avery folks. But we would know that if we actually meant we.
Oh, I understand. But at least do you know possibly anyone who could make meeting space available?
Well, the answer to that question's pretty goddamn obvious. We all know who pretty much runs the show around those parts. A black woman. One that is on the ground every day, working with the neighbors, building up the community, and learning firsthand what the people need. So why didn't you ask her first? Or maybe you did ask her first. Maybe she just wasn't feeling it. And maybe what you're really looking for is someone of the same complexion to take an active stance against her. Well, again, good luck with that. And while I do know folks, including her, y'all are gonna have to do your own legwork with selling this forward-thinking project to the people.
I don't understand.
Oh my God! Here we go with the tears. Seriously? You honestly don't see what the problem is.
No, I don't get it. Okay, listen, I know we're all about race and racial justice and all, okay, but what happens to the environment affects us all. But the black community especially. Look at the rates of asthma or other rates of upper respiratory illnesses. Look at illegal toxic dumping, mercury poison, and the lack of urban green spaces. I mean, our carbon footprint is very important, and we're running out of fossil fuels. We all have to pitch in.
Okay, enough. Okay. I will explain it to you. We are in opposition to a project in a community which we have no real connection to because we think it is bad for the community that we have no connection to. Now, granted, they might have a point. Maybe the local bus company should think more of the environmental impact this development is having on the community, okay? But then again, we don't even know for sure if folks in that community are really opposed to that project or even weighed the environmental impact or any other impact of that project. I mean, look, a solar farm sounds nice. But what about the other legitimate concerns like job creation, which might hinder folks from getting fully on board with opposition? Where do you find these skilled green laborers in the hood? I mean, do you have a solution for that? I bet if you go around there right now, you would find a laundry list of more pressing environmental concerns than if the bus company is going to put a frickin' solar panel on its roof. But you ain't gonna find nothing because we never actually have been in the community doing the work to ask them how they feel or even find out what environmental concerns are most imminent in their lives. And perhaps if they did, they wouldn't be hitting me up for connections to the right people and meeting space. So instead of talking and working with folks beforehand, we are just going to circumvent them completely and concoct opposition on their behalf because obviously we know what's best. I mean, the nerve. You know what else, Linda? You've got privilege and you think you're slick. To help pull this great caper off, you're going to reach out to the only socioeconomic approved black body, the only one you know, and request that she do the cheerleading and such. Do you get it now, Linda?
Yes, I guess.
Good. Now, is there anything else I can help you with?
Well, there is one thing.
What is it, Linda?
Can you at least recommend a good place to get some chicken wings and cornbread?
Oh, no, she didn't. Delete, delete, delete.
So I'm Shareef Jenkins. I'm the producer of this series of plays. This is the first one in a series of 5. I asked 5 writers to write 10 minutes with race and civil rights in mind since 2016. So I'm going to ask questions. This is Liz Lerman method. So it's in 4 parts. So we ask that opinions or changes to the script, there's a time for that, but it's not anywhere in the beginning. Step 1, we ask, did you get any meaning from this? Step 2 is the artist gave me questions to ask you to answer. Step 3 is any neutral critiques. Now, for example, and this is no opinions, but neutral. An opinion critique is why is the cake so dry? The neutral question would be, what kind of texture were you going for? This is really good in life too. So, step 1, did you get any meaning from this, from what you have just seen? Any stimuli, anything, anybody can answer.
For me, it's about we're not allowed to speak for anyone else except for ourselves. Mm-hmm. And that is a huge boundary that shouldn't be crossed by anybody. Because no one can but me, no one can speak for me.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
What do you get out of it?
Yeah. Any meaning that you could add?
Well, I mean, lack of understanding at times. There was some lack of understanding coming from one point of view. One person was trying to just try their best, and the other person was being a little condescending.
Yeah.
Well, it just reminds me of like when you want to pick somebody to do something, but you don't know what's. For me, it seems like the one girl wasn't that really interested in helping. She just had all of her personal issues on her mind, but she thought other people were thinking about her because that was her personal experience, not necessarily every person's experience.
Anyone else? So this is the question I have for you. How do you think this piece adds to the conversation of race, positively or negatively, in America?
Negatively.
This piece adds to the conversation negatively.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Because it's once again perpetrating the thoughts of Black America, and it's giving us that green card to once again be arrogant to someone else that's not of the Black race when they're just trying, and the keyword is trying. Whether the intent may be coming out wrong, they tried. That's what it's all about. It's about trying. Whether they fail, that's a whole nother segment. But at least they're trying. So why not just go with it?
Okay.
Well, I think there's positivity in that there are two, well, I agree in many ways, but at the same time, they're polar ends of the same conversation. And the humor is such a good way to make people laugh at and then realize, wait, that's me I'm laughing at. So there's something really great about that.
For me, it just looked like don't judge a book by its cover because you picked the wrong person for the job. She's not interested in helping your company. You see her on her YouTube videos, but that's really not, her mind is somewhere else. It's like, and people do this a lot, with work or, hiring people. They look at the outside shell of a person. They want an ideal of a person and not really thinking about what's in them, or what that person is really about. I think that was a big issue.
I guess I would say that it adds, I hate saying positively or negatively, but I think what it does is it raises awareness to the, I guess how we don't even realize that we're acting a certain way, that we are coming across as being in any way, I hate to say racist, because I don't feel like she's, like Linda's racist, she's just oblivious. She's completely oblivious to what she's doing. And that's why she has to get schooled a little bit. So I guess that I guess it's adding positively because it's bringing awareness to how oblivious people can be about cultures, races, communities that they know nothing about.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I felt rather similar to that. It's just cultural inertia of not knowing what's going on in one community and attempting to diagnose the situations and problems that are occurring within that community without actually having the input of that particular community itself.
Well, there's a couple of things. First off, it's kind of like things were going along the same way for so long that you think it's okay. You don't know it. It's kind of like the Me Too movement. Like, it's okay for a guy to grab my butt or something because they've done it all the time.
Right.
And we've just become so desensitized to that
Right.
thing. So it's kind of like, oh, it's this shift you're trying. I think it's helpful to help shift something that at first, hello. Doesn't seem, was so accepted that you never questioned it because it was accepted, was the cultural norm.
Right.
And now that things are such, we're standing up for ourselves, that kind of thing, it's not normal. It's wrong. And I think it's helping kind of still educate that it still exists. People
Right.
still think that way. And it's not that they're thinking it in a negative way. I don't think, from Linda's perspective, she just is so unaware of the world outside.
Right.
And then
It'll come back to you.
So now with any neutral questions that you have about the piece, or about the piece. I've been with this piece for about 3 years. I've discussed it with the author, and so it's possible that I can answer, and the ones that I can't, I'll bring back to her. So if you have any questions, information, factual questions, for the author.
How did this come about, this discussion? I know she was a writer for the newspaper down there, but how did this specific incident start?
Right.
That she chose to write about this?
I believe that this is, in her experience with writing and with dealing with, I've read some stories that she had about about people that she worked with that she may have had this conversation with before, but still, they were still doing the same thing, and it just kept going on. And then meeting other people in her life, and so it was just like on this thing coming against the same person, different people possibly, but the same person, and even the same, and over, and it's just like.
So that's interesting, because if that keeps happening, you keep going up against the same thing, this creates the same thing. You're immediately gonna that's your trigger. So you're immediately gonna switch to that. No,
Right.
And that's kind of like it's that Pavlovian dog thing where you ring the bell and it's gonna salivate. You ring the and so it's kind of like that.
I think for many people, when you do that, because it becomes a part of life, there are some times where you just accept it, and you're just like, and then sometimes you're like, let me school you, and then sometimes you're like, I can't take you right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like constantly choosing your battles, understanding your environment and what's at stake. Like if you're at work and it's your boss, then it's a different kind of thing. There may be times where your boss just pushes, like it's the wrong day and pushes your buttons, and some people come off like we'll just give it to them, and some people will give it to them in a way that's like, you can't fire me for this. I'm just going to say it the way it is, and I'm not going to use curse words, and I'm not going to get mad, but I'm just going to tell you. And which I feel like this a little bit was here, but it can come out in many different ways. And in Philly, I think I was seeing that it's an underlying racism in Philly, so it's more black and white than New York. Like New York, there's so many cultures. There is sort of racism, but it's like there's so many of us, and we have to be with each other all the time. Not have to be, but we choose to be. That it's like you start to see people and not color. For me, that's my experience. I know that there are some neighborhoods that stay in the neighborhood and never even go to the city, even though they're like right there.
Yeah.
But my experience here is that it's more broad, and that these issues don't happen as much in New York City as they do in Philadelphia. Any other neutral questions? Okay, so now you have a chance to ask opinions, and because she's not here, just ask, and I will give it to her, and she will think these are opinions that you have, and just try to be mindful that this is a person's work, that she's taking this criticism as a way to expand the work or make it better, and not, I didn't like that color, or
Right.
I didn't like the way she said, so any questions?
Well, this is more of an opinion. As a whole, Jim, I think she did a really good job at making such a large argument very small and concise, and you get to what the meat of it is. So I think if she's going to expand, maybe the next leg is just to keep, she's got the whole structure she needs to start. That argument is there, that base is there, so it hits home right away.
Yeah.
I feel like there could be more back and forth rather than longer monologues. I feel like it kind of breaks up the
More dialogue.
the continuity and the rhythm of the whole piece. But
I feel, is there a way that she can bring this topic in a different format, as as a society we're already used to this, Is there any way that she can reword it so that it's a different message? To start a different conversation. Because right now I feel like it's the same conversation
Right.
we've been having forever.
Right.
I think it's time
Yeah.
to start a new conversation. And how do we do that?
Okay. That's it. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much.
Okay, hi, I'm Enrique Menendez.
Hi, Yolande Gooding.
Hello, I'm Deanna Henson.
I'm Shareef Hadid Jenkins.
I'm Kenya Brown.